So today I'm going to start tinkering with the kratky tubs. So if you've seen the old videos of last year, you'll see that I did these as kratky tubs with 3 tomato plants in them, stacked 3 high. Had a bumper crop out of them, but I did notice a couple of cons over the whole system. The first one, the guy that I was following on YouTube drilled a hole there so you could put your finger through to check the level of the water. That's a pain in the arse. The other thing, of course, was checking the pH and also the EC. You had to do it individually on every single bucket. Seemed like a lot of effing about. So I've come up with the idea of putting a little ball valve in. I think I got these off of eBay or Amazon. Just tap-in plastic ball valves. Cost me about £4 each. So I'm going to put a plastic ball valve in each kratky tub, and I'm going to connect all of them together onto a main reservoir so that when the bucket gets low, it just automatically refills it. I then won't have to look in these buckets at all because I can go at the main reservoir and I can check the EC and the pH in that. Seems like a good idea. So all I'm doing today is I'm sealing up these 2 holes with a bit of old AdBlue container, so as I can have a tomato plant each side, and then I can drill a new smaller hole for this ball valve to go into. Now, to buy a fitting to go on that, it was £3 each, so it would have cost me 30 quid. You take your bit of overflow, heat it up with a heat gun, and it'll actually push on there. A little bit of silicone on with it when you push it on, and that'll do. It's not mains pressure, remember, it's just like tank fed pressure. So that's the idea so far. And that's the first one up and done. Now the hex bolts can be taken out once the glue's dry. And basically I can fill it up to this level. Get out of the way. I can fill it up to this level when I put the tomato plants in, which will keep the valve shut off because it'll be underwater, of course, or under pressure. And then as the water drops down and the tomato starts growing air roots as well as wet roots, it'll get down below the bulb, and then of course it lifts up to that point, stops the water, drops, lets water in. And just putting a piece of overflow on the other side, I can connect onto that, stick a lid on it, 2 tomato plants, happy days. So we're back in the hydroponic polytunnel. As you can see, I've moved the table around. I'm not even sure if I want to keep that cooker. Do I really need a cup of coffee? Drink cans, don't I? But anyhow, that's the copper cylinder out my new villa. That's going to be a reservoir, and that's going to supply all the kratky tubs. So I've still got to make a base up out of some pallet wood so that they can all sit nice and level, and then get some overflow fittings and basically just put T-pieces on all the way down, elbow on the end to take it into the last one, and bring it up here to this. Now they say having copper in your water stops the algae growth, so that'll be one to see. We'll see if we get a good crop this year, but hopefully that will make it a lot easier to see what tomatoes we've got. And of course each bucket is going to have a different variety of tomato. I've got 10 varieties of tomato plant, 10 buckets, 2 plants in each. I'll get some mesh to hang from this section just hanging down, and then we can tie the tomatoes into it. Should be a lot easier to pick tomatoes, a lot less like a jungle, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. I've spent the morning putting a new hinge on that door because that went about 4 or 5 months ago, and slowly we're getting back into the hydroponic mode. I'm just checking to make sure that the tank hasn't got any blockages in it. I was thinking that the water would come out at a greater rate. And go into that bucket, saves wetting all the floor up. It doesn't matter, does it? At least we know there's no blockages down there. So when we get this rigged up, the whole system will be live, if you like. It'll all have water in it, and then as the ball valve goes up and down, it'll refill it with water and nutrient. Because last year I did forget a couple of times to check the buckets, and a couple of plants looked iffy. This way I've only got to check one tank. It'll be so much easier. Thought I might as well rip the pallets down while I was over here, so they're not 100% level, but they're better than sitting on top of the bark chippings. And it means that I can then pop in the DIY shop, pick up some overflow either later on today or tomorrow, and start doing a bit more on them. Hopefully I can then get them filled up, or get this filled up, all of these filled up with water, get the nutrients in it, and just leave it so that when the tomato plants are ready in the indoor ones to come over, we can just put them straight in, as long as the temperature is a little bit better. What we've got over here at the minute, well, that is a sunny day today. We're on about 12 degrees C,